Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're well. I am a bit late and I really apologize for that. I'm actually not feeling amazing. But what I know about magic and serving and the innocence meditation is that once I show up, I'm here to serve, and I step into innocence, that everything is all right, she says, pointing her pen. And it's interesting, actually. So today we're going to look at your focus. So it's interesting that I'm like this, isn't it? I'm feeling very wobbly. And even before I came on the call, I realized that one of my beliefs was coming up, my perfection belief, that I had to be perfect. And then I asked myself, but what would I love? And I was like, I'd love to show up and run an amazing session and really serve my beautiful people and have fun. And I think that was about it. I don't remember adding to have fun, but I'm adding that now. So by the end of the call today, you're going to walk away with the ability in any moment to know where your focus is, because where your focus is, because your focus is only ever in one of two places. It's on what you love or your beliefs. So we're going to take a dive into, and this was posted in the network, this document. I'm going to share it. But I'm going to share with you predominant beliefs. I'm really happy that I'm going off screen, actually, because I'm feeling, yeah. So actually, you know what? Let's just take a moment to choose to have an incredible session. I'm going to do that. I need to do that. And choose what you would love to get from the session. Feel free to drop questions in as we go on as well. So my choice, I choose, my intention is to serve your heart and soul. Have a really great session. So your focus is only ever in one of two places. It's on your heart, what you'd love, or your ego, your beliefs. Now, I remember when some of these beliefs were shared with me the very first time. It was very interesting. It was very revelationary. I was looking forward to finding out about them, but it was also a bit tough. So, because we didn't get in the correct structure. So let's get in the correct structure now. So let me ask you, what is it that you'd love? What would you love to create? And feel free to type it into the chat or write it down in your notebook, maybe. What would you love to create? What would you love? So we're just getting in the right structure. We're looking at beliefs today. What would you love to create? And you can think about one of your choices, one of your true choices, or one of your true choices, or one of the, oh, my brain, honestly, one of the orientational choices. Thank you, brain cell, that's still alive and dancing in there, we hope. And the orientational choices are: I choose the end result of a life I adore. I choose the end result of living my true nature and purpose. I choose the end result of being the predominant creative force in my life. And I choose the end result of being healthy. So choose a choice. I love that. Thank you, beauties. Thank you. It just already feels great to just show up, you know. So that's our step one. You know, we always have the 5 steps. First, what would we love? Second, where are you now in relation to that? And now I'm going to talk you through these beliefs, because some of these beliefs may be playing out. But when you want to get clarity on where you are now, you want to just look at, well, what have I been thinking? What have I been feeling? If you're taking a client through this, and you ask those questions, and also, you know, what's keeping you up at night? What's the first thing that pops into your head in the morning and when you awaken? What are your judgments? All of these kind of questions. There are questions that so that we're allowing the dormant memories. Like if I was to say to you, what did you? So the memory that's not going to be dormant in a moment is dormant now because I haven't asked you the question. But if I was to say, what did you have for lunch yesterday? And you know, omelette, salad. Okay. What did you have for lunch yesterday? So that memory that was dormant is now an active memory. And this is what we need. We need your beliefs, and we need, I'll answer that in a second. Thank you for the question. Great question. We need your beliefs. We need those negative thoughts and feelings, the judgments, the fears, all of that to shift from being dormant memories to come into the active experience so that we can drop them. You know, have you ever had that where someone has said something to you or done something, and like all of a sudden you like really react in a really weird way, totally out of proportion with the situation? That's because it's triggered a dormant memory, maybe a childhood memory, maybe even something in your genetics from an ancestor. So in these sessions, the second step is to, you know, to ask those kind of questions so that we can bring those memories into the active experience so that you can drop them so that they're not playing havoc and creating drama in your life. We don't want that. So collusion is an interesting one. Collusion is where, like, say if I said to you, okay, say we had a friend called Amy, and I was jealous of Amy, and I made up loads of lies about her, or even I told you something that I knew about her, and I was like, well, you know, you don't want to be her friend. This is what she did, or this is what she said about you, or this is what. It's where you're oh, do you know what? I'm just going to Google the proper translation in the proper meaning in a second. But it's that ganging up and getting people on your side, and you know this, and so that you're against someone. Okay. And the proper definition is, yeah, secret agreement or cooperation, especially for an illegal or deceitful purpose. There was collusion between the two companies to fix prices. In life, it mainly shows up as, yeah, that's right. Getting people on your side against someone else or against another party. It's a horrible, horrible thing to witness and to be involved in. So remember, I'm going to go through the beliefs, and this is not all that we have to play with, because we're also playing with what we would love and what we're creating. So the first one, the most prevalent one, is I'm unworthy or I'm unlovable. And this, okay, so just note it and notice as you go through them. And I like to say, if you know anyone that has these beliefs, so this person who is or feels unworthy or unlovable, and remember, these beliefs were instilled in us from childhood. Something happened with our caregivers or parents. And rather than seeing our caregivers or parents as the ones with the in inverted commas problem or in the wrong, we made it about us. We created a wound because actually that was easier in a weird, mucked up way. So seeking self-referential love and approval. And you can see my screen, yeah? But these were posted in the network as well. Will seek approval or harmony, but will then reject the same, as receiving it would contradict the belief. They will I mean, this is huge. They will I might make this a bit bigger, you know. Yeah. They will unconsciously arrange to be rejected, as this proves there's nothing about them worth loving. So, you know, they'll choose the wrong people. They'll fall in love with people that they know just aren't interested or will reject them. Have I shared? I've shared, I think, maybe on this call, but I'll share it again. The unconscious just goes searching in your life for situations that you were used to when you were a child. So if every morning when you were a child, you came down to breakfast and you got hit over the head with a hammer, and then you went round to your friend's house and you stayed over and you came down to breakfast and oh, they don't get hit over the head with a hammer. What's going on here? And but in your life, you're going to seek out what your unconscious sees as, in inverted comma, normal. This is why you see people in abusive relationships and eventually they leave the partner. And then what do? They find the same kind of relationship over and over again. Or people with passions around money, whatever it is. So the next one, they take steps to attract love and to belong, but will often end up doing the opposite. They'll take everything personally. Everything they hear is about them. This may manifest as extreme sensitivity or paranoia. How does this relate to me? What does that say about me? What do they mean about me by that? They will often become the center of a controversy, be dramatic, or a martyr. This tests their worth. How do people accept? How much do people accept me? They'll set high standards and punish themselves relentlessly. This is always an interesting one. They'll do things a worthy person would do. For instance, work for charities, be a good Christian, environmentalist, etc. Not because they love it, just because their worth is defined by looking at what others consider to be worthy, not what they think themselves, because they're unworthy. They will often leave jobs or relationships before others find out how unworthy they are, and they will often use collusion. I'm not good enough. Seeking wholeness. So their strategies. So the strategies are the things that your ego does or carries out to both prove that belief and to try and disprove it. So compulsive trying or attempting. The goal is to become whole through success and hard work. Anything that is done easily is suspect. Overachievement. For example, you see this with people that get degree after degree after degree, high flyers. They keep trying because they're good, but not good enough. The perpetual student, as I said, a lot of high flyers have this belief and burn out. They'll set up achievements that don't get acknowledged. If this is so interesting, if they received acknowledgement, the belief would be contradicted. They're always looking to better themselves. Enough is never enough, tiring. And they're very future orientated. They're always rushing ahead. This makes this belief really easy to see. They're the should people. Lots of shoulds. I should do this and then I'll be. Characterized by feelings of emptiness. I don't belong or I don't fit in. This is seeking identity or who am I? So the strategies that this person has, a person with this belief rather, it's interesting. Whenever I'm talking about this belief, I always feel like I put my foot in it because it's someone with purple hair or, tattoos or piercings all over them right in the front row of when I'm speaking. And it's interesting that people like that, they do it not to belong, but then they really belong in that kind of a tribe. Does that make sense? It's really interesting. It's all very interesting. A preemptive strike of being odd or weird or different before other people kick them out because they don't belong. Very often they'll act like a hermit, even among people. Actually, I need some water. They will try and belong and ensure they have a place where they belong. What's my place? What's my role? They will do things so they won't be thrown out. These people are often very likable. They will become part of or instigate a group, a club, or a cult. This is so they have somewhere to belong. And they'll be hyper vigilant about people. Those people are not like us. You saw this big time over the last couple of years. OMG. Will launch a preemptive strike through eccentricity or conformity. For instance, prevent being thrown out by conform. Oh, I'm going to read that again. Will launch a preemptive strike through eccentricity or conformity, i.e., prevent being thrown out by conforming or being so weird that people don't know how to react. I'm insignificant or invisible. There was someone, when I did this training the first time, maybe 15 years ago, there was someone with this belief and it was raging. It was huge. And she was very petite and very slight and you could hardly hear her when she asked a question or talked in the class. And it was really interesting because it was almost like because they were so quiet, you had to stop and really listen and really pay attention. So there was almost an element also with her of, and this is not a judgment, it's just an observation. There was also an element of control because that was her way of gaining control. But this person is generally seeking a viability, a sense of the future, survival, safety, avoidance of violation. This particular person was always looking for a community, to belong, to fit in. There was a belonging belief going on there. So a sense of detachment. She was always hiding as well. It's interesting. It's an interesting belief. It's not super common, but it's a very important belief to notice, whether it's in you or maybe in people that you're working with or for, or clients for those that are doing the certification or teacher training. They'll never ask for what they want because they're insignificant. Now, this belief is also a part of another belief which isn't so common and it's not part of this training, but I did want to include it as well. And that's the trust belief. I can't trust myself, others, or the world. This person would cheat or be dishonest, often by not saying what they think rather than lying. They will unconsciously set up others to fail and then feel betrayed. This is a preemptive strike. They assume others will fail them, which fulfills the belief and gives them a reason to keep their heart closed. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Like assuming that people are going to come to an event with you or a celebration, or that they're going to be a part of something, and you don't really tell them. Maybe you do at the last minute, but it's an expectation thing. So you're setting them up to fail, and then you'll feel betrayed. And with all of these beliefs, you see, what they do is they just prove the belief. With these strategies just prove the belief. Like this next one, will not allow others to help them feel safe. They will try to go it alone. And then the more you do that, the more you're proving, oh, it's true, I can't trust people, or I am insignificant or invisible. So going back to the top one there, so they will unconsciously set up others to fail and then feel betrayed. This is a preemptive strike. They assume others will fail them, which fulfills the belief and gives them a reason to keep their heart closed and the ego happy in its shit. Excuse the technical term. So then they will not allow others to help them feel safe. They'll try to go it alone. They'll often feel misunderstood in order to survive up, etc. Now, as we go through these beliefs, are you noticing someone in your life that might happen? No? Sure. You? No. It's just an awareness. And remember, you've always got a choice. You focus on what you love, or this kind of stuff, your beliefs. So, someone with this belief will be very careful, always seeking safety before taking action. If I open my heart, I'll die. They'll set up a lot of tests for people or things, and this will often actually destroy what they want. Because where's their focus? I can't trust myself, others, or the world. They'll look for trustworthy symbols, a person, a guru, a teacher. But then once found, they'll test them to see why or where they are untrustworthy. Again, proving the belief you can't trust people, which is just their belief. They'll demand guarantees and make rules. This is designed to create predictability and safety. They'll get into situations not worthy of commitment. Example, a bad relationship or hanging around with the wrong crowd. A commitment equates to entrapment and is akin to death. This is like I was talking about earlier. They'll make plans and create expectations involving others without telling them. If the other person doesn't come through, they'll feel ripped off and cheated. We see this happen a lot with, teachers and their students. On both parts, actually, yeah. So the next one, they'll feel unseen or unrecognized or undervalued, violated, betrayed, ripped off. Often people, this is hilarious. It's like, oh my God, when you hear this the next time. Often people with trust issues are open about it. You can't trust people, you know. You can't trust people, you know. I'm not allowed to be capable. Interestingly enough, something I realized recently about this belief is that it's often that they see that other people don't see them as being capable as well. So, and sometimes that's where it stemmed from. Seeking the freedom to do or have what one really wants. And their strategies. They'll set up things so that they can act incapable. That will raise the goalposts before even reaching them. They'll underachieve compared to what their real capabilities are. They'll appear less capable than they really are. They'll avoid situations where capabilities will or might be tested. And that's horrible. That's painful. We all came into this life with a mission, a vision, a soul path. And, if you have already done your heaven on earth journey or taken that training, sometimes it takes 1 or 2 or 3 or more experiences of that journey to really gain clarity that resonates, that clarity on your soul path. But people with this belief, they'll be afraid of feedback, and they'll stick themselves in a loop, and they won't shine. And it's not their, often it's that Marianne Williamson quote, it's not their darkness, their shadow, or being a failure that they're afraid of. They're actually afraid to shine. They're afraid of their light. And I see that a lot with light workers and way showers. Thank goodness we have the re-spark, eh? So there's lots of coulds. I could do this, I could do that, but don't know. Spinning wheels going nowhere. I also see this with a lot of entrepreneurs who work very hard. They work many, many, many hours a day, but they're not creating anything. They're not focused on end results. What did you do today? I worked very hard. What did you create? What have you got to show for it? Or you look at their calendar and they tell you they want to be a speaker, or they want to be this, or they want to be that. And you ask them, well, where in your calendar have you got this time carved out to practice speaking or to practice writing, to write a book, whatever? So spinning wheels going nowhere. I really identify with that. I spent many years of my life in spinning wheel mode, thinking I was working hard or working on my business, but no. And a lot of that was because I didn't have a great coach. So next one, constant preparation and very process orientated, don't actually get anything done, and lack of commitment. And often that's a very unconscious. Finally, you'll be glad to know, the final one today. I need to be perfect. Seeking peace, relief, and resolution. Strategies. I would choose to do this when I've got a dodgy voice today. I'm dodgy throat, honestly, like so much talking. But anyway, I am not needing to be perfect. If I lose my voice, you're just going to have to bear with me. Strategies. The belief assumes that perfection exists and it's something one needs to be. They will never begin. We'll find fault with other people. This is a really interesting one. We'll find fault with other people so that personal imperfection will be okay. Compulsive pickiness and fault finding. Excessive preparation. Looking for salvation and relief of it being over. Destroying things before being found out to be imperfect. This is when, they're all, how was that for you? How was that for you? Who knows someone? Who knows? I remember the first time I heard all of these beliefs, I was sitting next to a friend and she said to the teacher, she said, "Oh, I see you know my mum then." So who knows someone, maybe someone very close to you, who knows someone with those beliefs? Maybe you have one or two of them. So this is just an awareness. Remember, at the end of the day, or the beginning of the day, or the middle of the day, this is the whole point of this. Your focus is only ever in one of two places. Where are those places? Yes. Your end result. What I'd love, yeah. Or your belief. So, how are those memories that were dormant before, are they coming up into the active experience? So now what I'd like you to do. So you've got clarity on what you'd love. To choose one thing. This is a mistake I used to make. I'm just going to share this with you. Going through this process, I would think of a million things. Oh yeah, choose the end result of my sexy man, my beautiful home, my amazing doggy, and my overflowing with money. And yeah, great. All of those things are brilliant. But when I look at then where I am in relation to that, there's no tension because I'm not choosing one defined end result. So learn from my mistakes. Just choose one thing. One thing. What would you love? And you've got some clarity on where you are in relation to that. And now that you've got more of an inkling of those main beliefs that are playing out, can you see any of those beliefs related to that choice, related to what you want to create? And what are the strategies? What are the things that you do to try and now, how do I finish that sentence? What are the strategies that you carry out which actually prove the belief to you so that you go further down the spiral of, you see, I told you I was not lovable. You see what I mean? It's like, this is what these beliefs do. They just prove themselves to you. The more you carry out these strategies, they just prove the belief. Oh, you see, I told you people aren't to be trusted. I told you I'm not lovable, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not capable. So just noticing. So what are the strategies that you carry out? Like when you're moving towards creating what you love and it gets a bit uncomfortable, what do? Drown yourself in wine, smoke, have a spliff, go and read a personal development book, have an ayahuasca ceremony, blah, blah, onwards and onwards. It's so good. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. Above all else, know thyself. Know thyself. And then focus on what you love. Focus on what you love. So, yeah, self-sabotage. Yeah. Yeah, and some of our strategies, we can say that they're positive, but it's also what is, I've seen people that overwork or overexercise because it's motivated by their, in inverted commas, stuff. And I'll be, people will battle me, but it's okay to read a self-help book. No, not when you're motivated by the fact that you're not good enough, or that you need fixing, or that you're broken. So it's, and obviously I don't think anyone is going to let this do their head in. It's not the point of this. It's an awareness. It's a know thyself. Know thyself. And it's so enlightening just seeing all of these. The complicated. We don't want to give power to our ego, our self-conscious. But isn't it interesting how tricky Mickey it can be? But we're not giving it power. We're not giving it power. We're giving the power to what we love. And you do that simply by focusing on it. So we've done a lot of digging and mucking around in the dirt and the marsh. We allowed all of those dormant memories to come up into the active experience. So now let's have a number for your resistance. If 0 is nothing and 10 is the most you could imagine, allow all of that, dare I call it SH1T, all of that stuff, put it in a bubble and give it a number. 10 is the most resistance you could imagine, and 0 is 0 resistance, no resistance at all. You're effortlessly flowing towards creating what you love. So what number would you give it? And drop it into the chat box. Good. 8, 6, 5, 7, 9, 4. Brilliant. Well done, everyone. Okay. 3, that's low. 7, 9. Okay, well done, everyone. So now that's step 3. What amount of resistance? Step 4, let's do the process. So give me permission, please, to connect with your superconscious. Superconscious, are you there? Superconscious. Thank you for being here. Superconscious, do you see that resistance? For everyone here and those watching the replay. Can you please tag entry and do a massive change history, and everything is needed? Thank you. So obviously, please close your eyes and just take some deep breaths. Just notice. Notice what you notice. So superconscious, we have a real block in alignment with desire. So the sentence procedure is, I deserve, I commit, I trust, I am, I will. Can you please tag and treat and do a massive change history and everything that's needed? Thank you. Superconscious, we have dug up those beliefs, and there's a lot of beliefs raging. There's beliefs that are personal to us, and some of the beliefs that we covered, and those strategies, all of those sneaky ways that takes us away from creating what we love. And we have events, past, future, and present. Please tag and treat and do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. The body systems. We have the chakras, organs, and energy systems. And emotions. We've got a lot of sadness and shame and guilt and blocking the joy in the heart chakra. We have that throat chakra, fear of speaking, fear of hearing the truth, fear of speaking the truth. And I'm seeing this image of an apple cart, which is very precariously going along the street. And there's things falling off it. It's not quite in alignment, it's not quite balanced. And it's just a fear of just noticing that actually one of the wheels is a bit wonky. And it's just this fear of saying, hey, your foundation is just mucked up there. That fear of upsetting the apple cart. But actually, with two wheels that are working perfectly, you're not going to lose those apples. But there is an element of having to upset that apple cart for a moment to put that correct foundation in. And it's metaphorical for our own lives. Sometimes there's things that are really pear-shaped. We're using all the fruit metaphors today. It's a fruity session. But sometimes there are things that are pear-shaped. Maybe it's our morning routine. Maybe it's the beliefs we have about ourselves or the beliefs we have about others. But, we really need to be okay with having a moment or moments or days, sometimes weeks of discomfort. We've got to, as Brené Brown said, you've got to get used to discomfort. No, it doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel pretty in it. But neither does the comfort zone when we're stuck and we're not creating what we love. So taking all of those metaphors, allowing ourselves to put the good wheels on our apple cart so we can move with speed, with ease towards creating what we love. And life doesn't have to be pear-shaped, that we can speak our truth, that we can speak from our heart and know that it's not up to us to control how our word is heard. Sometimes our voice might shake. Sometimes we might have tears in our eyes. But it's that alignment with our own truth, with our own heart. So in relation to those signs, those symbols, those metaphors, please tag and treat. And do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. All right, gently open your eyes and let me know your first number and where you are now. For instance, 10, 1, 4, 0. So what was your first number and where are you now? Be gentle with yourself. Yeah, it's fine if you're still processing. And the tears, I've even got water coming out of my eyes. I was really deep into the field. I'm really feeling the eclipse energies. Anyone else? 8, 3, 7, 3. Good. So powerful. But we've got huge beginnings. Huge releases. Huge. All right, my beauties. Let's go back in again. Super conscious. So do I have permission? Please give me permission again. So close your eyes. Just notice what you notice. Super conscious. Yeah, we have part personalities. We have that inner child. The inner child. Wants this constant connection with us. To know it's loved. To have a dialogue with us. To check in and go, ooh, what's happening here? Do I like that person? Do I like that next step? What are you planning? And that comes from both insecurity and neediness, and that's okay. But hey, how about that we actually make that inner child a part of us so that we become even more whole, complete beings? So that it's not separate from us, so that it's actually a beautiful emerald green in our heart, representing innocence, representing how we are and how we were even before we knew about beliefs or had to create them. Just that sense of surrendering to the eternal now, in awe. Have you ever seen a child? Like, in awe at maybe playing with dirt or grass, and they're like, wow, excuse me, like, wow, just no thoughts, no worries, just totally engrossed in the moment. We don't want that 24/7, but we want to be able to access that part and know it's in our heart. And if this is true for you, people listening, just choose it. But my whole point here is super conscious. If there's any resistance around fears that our part personalities might have, the other part personalities are the wounded lover, the overachiever, the protective controller, and then also the inner child. So please tag and treat and do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. Beautiful. I'm just seeing the mist, like the mist of Avalon, the mist clearing of all our old beliefs, all our old thoughts and feelings. And we're seeing, it's like I just had this image of Glastonbury Tour. But also your land of plenty, your version of heaven on earth, the mists are lifting. And not only are you seeing more and more of what you'd love to create, your soul path, your version of heaven on earth, but you can feel it in your heart. You feel aligned with it and connected with it. Any resistance around that, please, superconscious, tag and treat. It must change history and everything that's needed. Thank you so much. Please ground the memories we touched today back into the matrix of the universe, including memory 1, the superconscious, memory 2, the unconscious, and memory 3, the so memory 1, the superconscious, memory 2, the unconscious, and memory 3, the self-conscious. Ground them back into the matrix of the universe. Thank you so much, superconscious. Beautiful, everyone. So gently come back and let me know what your first number was and where you are now. I hope that was powerful for you. Good. Well done. Well done. Lots of zeros. I'm loving it. 9, 1, 8, 3, 7, 5. Good. Good. Even one, letting go of one level is really powerful. So well done, everyone. Please be gentle with yourselves. I love you too. Thank you all. I'm so glad. Honestly, I felt so rubbish beforehand, but I'm feeling, I'm really glad I turned up. That was so powerful. And I got loads from it as well. I love you all so much. I'm going to leave you and love you. I need to have some lemon and water or honey and something for my throat. I'll see you next time, and be gentle with yourselves. Powerful time. We've got a new moon in about 2 weeks. So let go, let go, let go, let go. I love you. Focus on what you love. Oh, and of course, the final step. What action are you going to take? Step into that end result. Step into the end result of what you'd love, of what you want to create, what you focused on today. And notice, look behind. What was the step that the current version of you took to create that? Yeah. And me, it's go for a nap. What's the action? And remember, you know the resistance has dropped or is dropping when you take action. So commit to taking the action. All right, I'm going to go. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, everyone here live on the call, and everyone on the replay, in the Facebook group, all over the place, all over the world. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. Love you. See you next time. Bye, babies.